Alright, here's an assortment of golden Argosy, 1888, 1886. We'll go through them real quick. This one's October 6th, 1888. Brooks McCormick, it's number 305. George Coomer, David Kerr, these are all story paper authors. Matthew White, Edward Ellis, Frank Converse, Horatio Elders, let's see, number 299, 1888. George Coomer, Oliver Optic, Horatio Elders, Edward Ellis, David Kerr, number 295, 1888. Frank Converse, Edward Ellis, Oliver Optic, George Comer, Arthur Lee Putnam, New York boy. These are going to be listed on our website as well as our eBay page. We'll probably put them on eBay under a auction. And what we've been doing is putting some things up for just one spin of the auction. Anybody interested, they can bid on it then. If not, it goes directly to our website. Same name, Dime Novel Hunter. When I go to the website though, you have to throw a www in front and a .com on the end. If you simply search for Dime Novel Hunter, you're going to either end up at eBay or at our YouTube page. YouTube has, I think last time I looked, 3,000 videos, so 300 videos, sorry. Frank Converse, front page is split. Annie Ashmore, Horatio Elders, Matthew White, Frank Munsey, publisher. Talbot Baines Reed. I don't think I mentioned the number. This is 277. Number 310. Frank Converse, Brooks McCormick, Edward Ellis, a lot of Edward Ellis in this. Matthew White, Talbot Reed, Horatio Elders, a lot of Elders, a lot of Optic, a lot of Ellis. had this one before. I remember selling it years ago. $2.90. Split spine. Gale Winterton. Oliver Optic. GM Finn. Edward Ellis. Arthur L. Putnam. Frank Converse. Looks like what was split on that is the front and back cover. Number 284. The last one was 290. I don't know if I said that or not. Frank Converse. What? Start that again. Number 269. Frank Converse. Ratio Elders. Frank Munsey. Edward Ellis. Oliver Optic. And that paper was split all the way through on the pages. Front and back pages split. Frank Converse. Matthew White. Brooke McCormick. Edward Ellis. Talbot Reed. And the smallest story in the back by Edward Ellis. Number 309, 1888. Edward M. Kirkman. Henry Harrison. Edward Ellis. Brooke McCormick. Matthew White. Talbot Reed. Horatio Elders. Ben T. Hutchins, 308. Edward Ellis. Horatio Elders. Brooke McCormick. Henry Cabot Lodge. Wow. He was a young man. Matthew White. Talbot Reed. Lieutenant K. Bolton. 275. Matthew White. Talbot Reed. Frank Munsey. Frank Converse. Horatio Elders. Annie Ashmore. Oliver Optic. Number 304. Last one was 275. Frank Converse. David Kerr. Horatio Elger. Matthew White. George Comer. I think that's the first one without an Edward Ellis. Number 279. Frank Converse. Matthew White. Annie Ashmore. Gail Winterton. Frank Munsey. Talbot Reed. Arthur Meserve. Number 280. String. Got a pencil mark up there on the top. G.M. Finn. Matthew White. Annie Ashmore. Gail Winterton. Frank Converse. Talbot Reed. Number 284. G.M. Finn. Gail Winterton. Frank Converse. Matthew White. Arthur L. Putnam. Annie Ashmore. Talbot Reed. .285 Oliver Optic. Arthur L. Putnam. Matthew White. Frank Converse. Congressman Reed of Maine. Gail Winterton. Captain Henry Harrison. G. M. Finn. Annie Ashmore. $2.99. Front and back split. Piercy Earl. George Coomer. Oliver Optic. Horatio Elders. Edward Ellis. George Kuhn. David Kerr. Front and back page split. Spine split. Number 251, 1887. Captain C.B. Ashley. Oliver Optic. Arthur Lee Putman. Matthew White. David Kerr. Frank Converse. It is split, but there's like a small piece down the bottom that's still attached on the whole thing. 1888, 296. David Kerr. Split. George Coomer. Oliver Optic. Edward Ellis. Frank Converse. Front and back split. And that was number 296. I didn't say it. It's a nice cover. 276, 1888. Heroic French Boy. Frank Converse. Maurice Sullivan. Annie Ashmore. Horatio Elders. Matthew White. Talbot Reed. Here's the last page. Front and back split. $2.78. Matthew White. Frank Converse. Bernard Redland. Annie Ashmore. Talbot Reed. Frank Munsey. That's a few more, folks. 277. William Harvey. Frank Converse. Annie Ashmore. Horatio Elger. Keep saying Gers. It's Elger. Matthew White, Frank Munsey, Talbot Reed, these are going to be listed on our eBay site as well as our website, DIMENOVELHUNTER. Go to www.DIMENOVELHUNTER.com if you want to go to the website. We offer free shipping. There's also a phone number and an email address if you have any questions. Number 307, Talbot Reed, Horatio Elger, Brooke McCormick, Matthew White, Edward Ellis, .283, Henry M. Hamilton, Talbot Baines, baseball pitcher, that's interesting, Gail Withington, Annie Ashmore, Albert Lee Putnam, Matthew White, G.M. Finn, spine is split front and back. Spine is split throughout. Number 271, Matthew White, Oliver Optic, Frank Munsey, Horatio Elger, Talbot Reed, Edward Ellis, Frank Converse, number 298, Horatio Elger, George Coomer, Frank Munsey, Edward Ellis, David Kerr, Oliver Optic, .282, G.M. Finn, Annie Ashmore, Gail Winterton, Matthew White, Talbot Reed, front and back split, spine split. Front and back spine split, $291. Edward Ellis. Oliver Optic. Frank Converse. Gail Winterton. Arthur Lee Pupkin. Frank H. Converse. G.M. Finn. $272. Annie Ashmore. Frank A. Munsey. Talbot Reed. Oliver Optic. Frank Converse. Spine is split. $288. Spine is split. G.M. Finn. Arthur Lee Putnam. Matthew White. Oliver Optic. Gail Winterton. Frank Converse. $268. Frank Munsey. Horatio Alger. Edward Ellis. A picture of Thomas Edison and a write-up. Oliver Optic. Frank H. Converse.